Well, let's move on. As we move on to the next discussion, we all know the insurance industry is witnessing a very powerful and a major shift from simply settling the claims to delivering a proactive care and approach, and of course, a seamless customer digital experiences. Recent studies also show that 90% of insurers globally are now integrating AI into claims workflows, enabling faster decision making, approaching customer efficiency, at the same time making the operation more and more efficient day by day. Well, these technologies are already helping the claims to be processing time to be reducing from 70 to 75%, while lowering the cost of operations by nearly 30 to 35%. Well, a remarkable change. At the same time, innovations like predictive analytics, automated first choice, and real-time fraud detection is making claim settlement, preventing risk management, and also having an approach with customer-centric. Well, today's conversation is going to be more than that. It's going to have leader talking about reimagining the journey from claim to care. This is where the technology enables faster for the leaders and also, most importantly, for the policyholders. Let me invite the panel one by one on the stage. First and foremost, joining this dynamic panel from claim to care, enabling proactive, preventing, and digital claims management is Dr. Rohitt Salwan, Head of Legal and Fraud Prevention Unit, FPU, at Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance Limited. Can we have a huge round of applause and welcome him on stage? Joining us on the panel is Mr. Sandeep Aggarwal, VP and National Head Health Claims, IFFCO Tokio General Insurance. Can we have a huge round of applause and welcome him as well? May I now invite Mr. Nimesh, Kanabar, CRO, Zurich Kotak General Insurance. Can we have a huge round of applause and welcome him? Joining this panel is Ms. Nazeem Khan, Head of Internal Control and Motor Third Party Claims, ICICI Lombard. Can we have a huge round of applause and welcome Mr. Nazeem Khan? Joining this panel, may I now invite Saurabh Chandra, co-founder and CTO, OneAssist. Can we have a huge round of applause and welcome him? Well, the moderator for this panel is Kishore Kanchandani, CRO, Magma General Insurance Limited. Well, with this powerful panel, I'm sure we're going to have a great key insights and perspective to share. Can we have a huge round of applause? Over to Mr. Kishore.
Good morning, everyone, and warm welcome to the panel here. Traditionally, insurance have been viewed as a moment of truth where basically the settlement of claim is a point which is a promise which has to be fulfilled, and that was only the expectation of the customer. Now this moment has been evolving. Now customers are not only interested in the settlement of the claim, but the entire experience, the wow experience, which I have to say here. So be it from the claim settlement at a faster pace to more interactive approach and a customer-centric approach, that's what the expectation of the customer has been. We've seen times when the expectation of the new generation, the millennials have already had their period. Now we have Gen Z, Gen Y, Alpha, and the beta. So this is a new generation which we'll be dealing with, and we need to understand these are those types of people who would not come to you for each and every point, but would expect the insurer to reach them. And at a click of the button, the information has to be available. Otherwise, you lose the customer. So with the esteemed panel, we have this topic from moving from the claim to care, where with the help of technology, data, we see reformation is the entire claim management journey. So I welcome the panel here and would would like to understand more. What are we going to understand? How is the customer going to be benefited through this? So before we start, just a quick disclaimer: the views expressed by the panel here are in their own personal capacity and need not necessarily represent the views of the organization they represent. So I have the first question. The first question is to you, Nimesh. Why do you think that we need to focus on the element of care? Do you think that this softer approach is a win-win for the customer and to the insurer at the same time?
Absolutely. As rightly said, that this is a win-win situation for both the insurer and the customer. Now, when we talk about claims, if there is no care, there is no service, and there is no insurance, I would say. Because as Kishore rightly mentioned, when we talk about insurance or claims, it is rightly said as a moment of truth. So if the insurance company is not able to deliver when it matters the most, it does not exist for long, right? So from a sustainability perspective, I think care is the most important word which will prevail for a very long time, and nothing is going to replace it. I just remember working in a life insurance company earlier. I was heading the claims in that company. So my CEO was very interested in terms of how we communicate to the customer even the last decision, right? So typically what happens is that when you are making a claims decision and sending a letter to the customer that here is the check for you, right? He said, this is not giving me a connect with the customer, right? How do I connect? Is it just sufficient for you to send a check and inform him that here is the claims check? That's what matters ultimately from financial perspective. But where is the connect, right? So he asked us to draft a letter which could actually connect with the emotions of the customer, not just a forwarding letter saying that here is your check, right? It even mentioned that while we cannot replace the existence of the breadwinner, but here is a check which will help you to navigate through the financial loss that has happened to your family, right? So that is the kind of thing that we talk about when it comes to care, right? When we talk about life insurance or general insurance, be it health claims or motor claims or whatever claim it is, that is the point where it matters the most, right? So how can a company take care of its customer? When we talk about the word care, how does a company take care of the customers, right? It is basically being connected with the customer in every stage of the claim, right from the time the claim is logged in till the claim is paid out, giving him proper information in terms of what stage it is, right? When you pay the claim, it's done, right? But in case even if you're not paying the claim, how do I explain the customer in terms of why the claim isn't paid, right? Because you're not talking about a customer for this claim alone, right? You're talking about the longevity perspective. You're talking about from a customer's perspective from a very long time, right? Insurance, life insurance specifically are long-term contracts, while health insurance now, portability has come in. So if you do not serve the customer, he's going to the next shop for sure, right? So that is where it matters the most. And I'm sure most of the companies are now looking out for innovative ways in terms of how they can take care of the customer in innovative ways. AI is there, ML is there, a lot of stuff. Personal touch can never replace the care. So in terms of how you communicate to the customer at all ways of life, at all stages of claim is, I think, matters the most, right? So that is something what will even determine the stickiness of the customer to the company, right? So if you talk about a general insurance company where you're talking about a health claim or a motor insurance claim, you're talking about a long-term connectivity with the customer. It is not just 1 year and the customer moves to the next shop. We're not talking about that, right? So it matters the most in terms of how you are connecting with the customer. How are you empathizing with the customer at all stages of claims? I think that matters the most. Yeah, Kishore.
So I think well said, building connect with the customer and helping them during that moment of crisis is very important. It's more of the care element which is important nowadays. So with this, I move to the next question to Sandeep. Sandeep, from the customer lens, what do you think are the top pain points and how can technology help us in resolving the pain points of the customers?
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for the Sinex Group for having me at this panel. See, from the customer's point of view, the biggest pain point generally is how much time is it going to take for my claim to settle? how many documents I need to submit, if there would be different hassles around different documents being submitted, time and again queries being asked, status not available, where exactly is my claim and how long is it going to take. So these are the major pain points which customer doesn't generally faces in any claims life cycle. And of course, technologies with the help of mobile applications, AI-based applications, and OCR and the AI-based solutions which are in place right now, a lot of things can be done. And if status is provided to the customer in time, documentations, different integrations with the different agencies like eKYC, not asking for the customer for the KYC, we digitally do it. Documents being asked from the hospitals directly instead of asking from the customers. Even IID also insist on the same thing. So things like that, if we are able to solve through technology, which is which is currently happening also, and if we can improve upon and have newer technologies to improve upon that, I think that would help.
Thanks, Sandeep. The next question is to Mr. Nazeem. In today's world, everyone wants things at a click of the button. So what sort of advancements in the technology can help in building that wow experience for the customer?
Thanks, Kishore. First, we must understand in the financial services world, look at the financials, look at banks. Where does bank comes in life of people? Mortgage, very happy moment. Personal loan, going for holiday, auto loan, new car, new bike. Everything that a bank touches is in the good moment. Everything that insurance touches is in the bad moment or a distressful moment. Fire, earthquake, volcano, torpedo, theft, death, injury, accident. These are all stressful moments in the life of people, right? And this is where the patience of the customer is at the lowest. And that's where, insurance company normally, what I heard at Tariq pe Tariq, it's like paper pe paper. We ask too many paper, and unfortunately all the fraudsters are able to give you all the papers. The good customers will never be able to give you papers, right? So he's not experienced, he's usko pata hi nahi kya dena hai. He's just struggling. So what we try and do is, let me tell you what we try and do. So years back we used to handle motor theft. बोलते जी कागज पुलिस का इंटरेस्ट लेके आओ. अभी क्यों जरूरत है इसका इंटरेस्ट का? हम तो सरकारी कंपनी है नहीं. Why do you require interest report? We investigate a case. If I am convinced, I shall pay. वो 3 महीने रुको. क्यों 3 महीने रुको? Which customer will wait for 3 months? Why can't we pay in 3 weeks? But there are associated issues. Ultimately, one has to. You see, the problem in our country is India is one of the highest claim-paying country in the world. Roughly 65 to 70% claims ratio across the industry. Across the globe, we are one of the highest paying nation in the globe, with one of the lowest trust factor. तकलीफ देके पैसा दोगे ना तो ट्रस्ट कभी नहीं आएगा. That is the issue. So what we are trying to do through, one of the things that we are trying to do is, if I'm convinced, I will, see, we are overplaying technology. Somewhere when humans also have to take calls, right? Look at all the papers that you ask for a claim. Can you reduce those number of papers? And on that overlay technology stack, as he said, have you integrated DigiLocker? Customer doesn't have to submit. Have you, for example, the other thing that we have now is the integration of credit scores. Good credit score, just give him a leeway, boss. Why can't you give him a green channel? And integrate it through backend. So what we try and do is look at these third-party data sources which are available. Look at some of the technology which are, for example, we were working with some of the people who were, at least they claim, I don't know whether it's true or not, that they were, the US Army used it in Afghanistan and a lot of other places, which was a kind of a detection model, abnormal detection model. We integrated it to our claims and it was able to give us some result. So integrating some of these technologies and using that as a substitute for kagaj, yeah, to be able to ensure that you are able to at least bring down the life cycle of the claim. A, B, even if you deny fast. Our problem is we'll deny after a period of time. Even if you deny fast. And third, the amount of care that he spoke about, and these are all interlaying topics. You can't really segregate a question. If you have to say no with the human face. So a year ago we discovered कि भाई आप ना बोलते हो उसको ना, तो आपको हिम्मत ही नहीं है. You don't have a moral courage to answer the customer. You leave it to some chitti. You have to have, if you're saying no, you have to be convinced, then you will have a moral courage to say no. कि भाई इसके कारण मैं ना बोल रहा हूँ आपको. So what we did, we actually made people to explain to the customer why we are saying no. And we suddenly saw the escalation in litigation dropping down. Litigation coming down as a reason of explaining the customer why am I saying no. A, B, it builds moral fiber. It builds a moral fiber in the organization. आप उसको समझाओ तो सही कि क्यों नहीं बोल रहे हो. So some of this technology along with human element is something that we are trying to encompass. Of course, abhi Dilli Dura is what we say, right? Abhi journey has just started, and hopefully there's miles to go. But that's a journey for us as a company, and hopefully us as an industry.
So if I may add, Kishore, for what Nazeem was saying, the bottom line is empathy. So if you empathize with your customers, with your claimants, and understand the genuine customer and differentiate a genuine customer with a fraud customer with the use of technology, of course, that is where it is going to help.
Right. Also what Nazeem mentioned that, we are the ones who deal with the customer at the time of crisis. So it becomes more important to have that empathy. So I'll just share a very small, my real life experience. So there was one flight, I had been to Phuket, traveling from Phuket to Bangkok, and my flight got cancelled. So I was under the impression कि यार मैं तो इंश्योरेंस वाला हूँ, मेरे पैसे अपने आप 15 मिनट में शायद आ जाएंगे, मेरी फ्लाइट कैंसिल हो गई है. But that actually didn't happen that way. So it was the Thai airway. So when I reached to the insurance company, they asked me certain questions which I said, यार तो मुझे भी नहीं पता यार, मैं normal customer कहाँ से बताएगा. So they said कि आप ना flight disruption statement लेके आओ. मैंने बोला why should I get it? मतलब you go and coordinate with the airline. They said no, we will not coordinate with the airline. You have to coordinate with the airline, get the flight disruption statement or the cancellation statement, then come back to me. And 15-20 दिन I am still struggling to get that statement, but I am not getting it, and I have actually left it. So think from the customer's point of view, who may not be knowing an eye of the insurance, and we expect them to get you the documents, which actually is not a cup of his tea. So how does that feel? So this is just a flight cancellation. It could be an experience of a death or an accident. That point of time, that critical moments, we need to be there with the customer and have that empathy, which you too, Sandeep, mentioned, which is very important. Anyways, I'll move ahead. So I understand there's a lot of data which is involved, right? So we've been talking about the data analytics, the bot, IoTs, blah, blah, machine learning. So what I see that there are challenges around data collection and maintenance, right? So how do you think, Saurabh, this can be taken care of?
Hello. Yeah, good afternoon. Well, see, I think challenges around, first of all, I'll try not to use the word AI. Okay, being a techie. So how many people from outside technology in this room? Okay. All right, great. How many techies in the room? Yeah. No, there are some people who always never raise their hands. So you see, speaking about accuracy and control of data, I think accuracy through technology is getting increasingly better, right? And the questions around reading a document, whether it's Aadhaar card or a bill, etc., is increasingly lesser and lesser challenge. Doctors' prescriptions, I think, are still some time away from us. But I'll give you an example of, how does accuracy really matter when a machine comes into play and a human. So we have a product called Hawkeye, okay? What it does is basically the technology to scan a mobile phone and take a decision whether the phone is insurable or not, all right? The data goes back to a machine learning model, right? And the decision is relayed back to the customer in about, let's say, 60 seconds, okay? Of course, there is a champion model and there is a challenger, which is a human queue. We see that as the data matured, the claim ratios of the machine learning model are far, far better than that of the humans. Okay, so the question of accuracy in technology, I think, is part of the course. The challenges. There was a second part to the question, which was around. Sorry.
The automation. How does the automation and data analytics actually help us in reducing the manual intervention?
So automation, again, as I said, it's part of the course. So automation, I'll give you like an example of a discussion which I was having with a friend in the life insurance company. So they have a vision of, can we issue a policy, a life insurance policy to the customer in 30 minutes? Okay. The challenges are that the advisors who collect customer data, and today the industry continues to source a lot of business through advisors. Instead of, so there is a customer data, then there are documents. So instead of a KYC document, a blank document would be uploaded, so that the lead login happens. All right. Now what happens to this kind of a lead coming in? It results in outbound calls to consumers for policy issuance, right? You replace this document identification with an ML model, right? And there you are. All right, the challenges are taken care of. Technology exists. I'll continue to not use the word AI, but I think agentic is making it really possible and really fast. So the technology is available. I think, like my friends over here mentioned, that you layer it with the right empathy, you put in the right technology, make use of edge models so that the customer or the advisor who pumps in data does it first time right. If you make the upload, if you tell the person uploading the document that the document is correct or not, right there, you have kind of shifted the problem, solved the problem on the left side, and not waiting for it to go downstream. Yeah.
Just taking it forward what Saurabh spoke about. So in our journey towards the health claims, we have now the 5th generation of ML learning model. 5th generation. We started the journey 3 years back. So all these ML models are very hungry for learning, and you have to continuously refine, keep on adding new variables. So we have currently 27 variables, yeah, and we are able to say yes or no to at least 70% of cashless claim within 3.5 minutes or so. But when we were in China last month as a company, and our people met a lot of insurers, and we some of the leading insurers in China, versus 27 variables that we have, they have around 500 variables, 20 times more variable. Look at the kind of data those Chinese guys have. Obviously, you can't compare China with India. We're a different country. Yeah, we have our own, and especially with the DPDP kicking in place, data availability and consent will become much more stringent and will have increasing constraint. But the point I'm telling you is the 70% getting approved in minutes in group health is a factor of what? Is a factor of the 5th learning model which comes into play. One was rudimentary, 5 variables, 10 variables, 27 variables now. Keep on, and variables keeps getting added and getting deleted, depending on the output it throws and the success ratio it throws. Ultimately, what do you want? You want the maximum buck for the bank. You investigate less, give better success, yeah, and be able to give a quick pass through to the right claim. Yeah. So the journey has to start somewhere, and the journey is long haul, and the journey is continuous refinement, and we still feel we are in baby days as far as the whole tax stick is concerned.
I think a very valid point made by you, Nazeem. So when we talk about the data in terms of the quality of the data, right? Now, at least we have reached some stage where the data quality is slightly up to the mark, I would say. Not completely up to the mark, but at least in terms of the data maturity that we have, I think we are reaching there, right? Earlier, the term was like ego, which was a very popular term, garbage in, garbage out, right? We have moved a long distance from there, but I think in terms of the quality of data, the variables that you talked about, I think makes a lot of sense in terms of having the right data at the right place to get the right output. I think we have reached there to some extent, but I think still a long way to go.
Right. Well said. Next question is for you, Rohit. So this is for more to do with the anti-fraud related thing. So while there has been a need to move from fraud detection post-event to early detection, how effective are the predictive models in identifying such potential frauds?
Sure. Thanks, Kishore. So before I jump into the right questions, the soul of the discussion is claim settlement, claim insurance claim, and I look a claim from a very different perspective as my all colleagues look. Because I look from claims from a FPU perspective and from a legal perspective. I had both FPU and a legal. So it's a long journey for me when we talk about a claim, and maybe I look at claim from a more darker perspective than my colleagues, my panel colleagues. And we talk about softer approach. We talked about empathy, which is, of course, it's welcome when we talk about insurance claim settlement. But at the same time, we should also consider and factor a point that there is a parallel industry which is called a nexus, which is running a toe to toe, a step to step, right besides us. So we should also factor that in mind when and all those softer approach, empathies. Of course, the insurance is all about payment of a claim and not about reputation. That's what the genesis of insurance. And so go by that word. Of course, we should pay a claim, and we have, as Nazeem says, we have one of the best claim settlement ratio across country. But of course, yeah. So from where I am coming from a FPU and from a legal perspective, and the factors that I have seen, the darker factor that I have seen, rather than reputation of a claim at a claim stage, if we'll put some factors, some predictive analysis at an onboarding stage. We understand there is a business pressure. We have to do, the business in a fraction of minutes. That's how the competition work. If I don't do, somebody else will do. And insurance is more of a, it works on a utmost good faith, principle of utmost good faith. I need to trust what customer is saying. And it's not typically a financial sector when I ask so many documents from a customer. When underwriting a typical case. So we generally ask for a basic questions, very basic financial questions, very basic liveliness questions, basic mortality question, and basis that we underwrite it. So the point I'm trying to make is, if at the onboarding stage, if we'll try to build up a case or more productive analysis model where we'll be able to filter our cases which is less on mortality, or maybe we'll be able to onboard a good life, so that claims cases going at a stage of or maybe I am reviewing that case at a post-issuance stage or at a claim stage doesn't work. So of course, every insurance company has a 3 line of defense. First is your pre-issuance when we do it. So predictive analysis is running there. Of course, there is a business challenges, so there are not that, those models are not that sharp. So maybe I have a second line of defense when I said post-issuance. I still can analyze entire my portfolio at a post-issuance level. I still can weed out the cases. I can do a cancellation of cases so that those cases will not go into the claim. But having said that, all those first line of defense, second line of defense cases reaches to the claim reputation. Because of course, there are two ways of looking at it when we'll see a claim reputation. One is customer awareness from insurance perspective. They doesn't know what kind of information need to pass on. Or maybe a person who's trying to pitch in an insurance is trying to doesn't not been able to educate them that this is the critical information. Maybe if you'll give this information, not necessarily you will not get an insurance, but maybe a little, high paid up premium you will get it, but you will get a product. Rather than making, ending up buying a cheaper product and then in the eventuality, God forbid, the claim will be repudiated. So of course, whatever experience we have, whatever industrial experience we have, and everybody is working on a red flag segments, all those needs to be put into place. And those things basically we need to put in place while we are working on our underwriting tools, or maybe our FPU, we call it as an FRE rule engines, which needs to be run at both stages, maybe at a pre-issuance also, post-issuance also. And of course, that's could be a reason where we can reduce our burden at a claim processing also. Because the lesser cases will come at a claim stages. Of course, there is a team which is working, claim team is working, a legal team is working on that to give a decision on that. And every repudiation case maybe some kind of a learning that we need to, some kind of experience that we need to build in, and we need to sharpen our predictive engines also, so that decisioning will be fast. It will be a very good customer experience for a good customer experience also, because it's better to say no at a stage of a onboarding that's saying a no at a claim stage. Because of course somebody is taking insurance, so somebody is trying to inbuilt a kind of a eventuality which may come in and he may require that kind of a claims money. So I'm talking from a life insurance perspective. Of course, general have a more complicated kind of a fabric to work with. Yeah, that's from my side. Thank you.
Thanks, Rohit. Nazeem, since you have also been handling the anti-fraud unit and have vast experience, what are the challenges with respect to the fraud analytics? Where do you see it going?
Look, we can talk about fraud till cows come home. Look at banking space. What happened to the banking space? I started my career in the 90s, mid-90s. A borrower used to borrow from NBFC, Kotak, go to Sundaram, go to Cholamandalam, go to Apple, go to Citibank, go to Stancy, go to XYZ. So, there was no credit scores, right? It was free for all. As a consequence, delinquencies, bahut zara khali zara hadu bola, oh dada. Please, slightly. You're disturbing my thoughts. So, people used to borrow from XYZ and the delinquencies were high. And ultimately, who paid for the delinquencies? Other customers, right? Good customers pay for the bad customers. Now let's look at the insurance. And over a period of time, from 90s to 2007, the SICRA Act came in, and then the credit bureaus came in for credit bureaus. And today, look at what is banking is by and large having a control. People, all of you, I'm sure, look at your credit score, right? And all of your conscience, and you want your credit score to be high. Arey 750 ho gaya, it should become 775, it should become 800. That's what you are. Now look at what's happening in insurance. This is one thing that we really wanted to drive as an industry. How do we get in the individual credit rating for insurance, either as an integrated part of the credit score, of a holistic credit score, or on a standalone basis? And that's what we were trying to press with the regulator, impress upon them. We made some presentations. We also tried on. For us, I think the biggest game changer will be when we bring, आदमी को डर लगना चाहिए कि मेरे को बीमा कहीं से मिलेगा ही नहीं. Distributor को डर लगना चाहिए कि I will be out of distribution business. Hospital को डर लगना चाहिए कि I will be never impaneled by anybody else. Auto garage will feel that insurance business will be out from them. The whole ecosystem, till such time that doesn't realize, we'll work on transactions. And for that to happen, we need to collectively work as an industry with the regulator. And then when that happens, that will completely change the way we are doing. That will bring down the cost. It will bring down the friction. Before we came here, we were discussing why UPI has taken up. UPI has taken up because there is no friction. You just pick up your phone and in the Ziffy a transaction happens. दिमाग लगाना नहीं है. Claims में इतना friction क्यों है? Fraud, anti-selection, waste, abuse by various people, by the whole chain, starting from sourcing to servicing to distribution to post-sales to claims to claim servicing people to surveyors to investigators to the service providers. All can become a part of the fraud risk. It's just not one claimant, right? It's not one customer. One customer in isolation can do nothing. The whole value chain comes, it's a collusion. And, and for that collusion to disappear, systemic level changes is something. Otherwise, we will keep on doing some analytics, doing some transaction basis. हमको ये नहीं करना है. Every claim should be paid. This is the mantra that we have to do. For every claim to be paid, what should happen? Right underwriting. A fear. Look at the historical low in banking. Today, if you're getting auto loan at 8.5%, you must thank credit rating. Otherwise, everybody will have been paying 10%. And that 1.5% should have been for bad customers. Yeah.
Well said. I think it's the entire ecosystem has to work together to ensure to get that seamless experience for the customer. Nimesh, while we've been talking about the AI, so what's the role of human oversight over this particular piece?
So when we talk about AI, you cannot replace the human oversight for sure, right? So when we talk about now, each and every company is using AI, ML in some form or the other, right? But imagine one thing, that it is a continuous learning process. So it cannot be that claims decisions are happening without human oversight, right? So typically if I talk about high value claims, right? Now imagine claims being decided just by AI, right? Now what is the role of human in that, right? It could be that you are paying a claim which is not payable or otherwise, right? In case if you end up not paying a claim which is payable, it could be a huge reputational loss for the company, right? So I cannot imagine a state where even if AI is there, you have got the best of the models, where you have got the best of ML data fed in, and it is giving you results. At best, it is an aid to decision making, right? Definitely AI has helped, because before the decision making, a lot of things which were earlier laborious to make, right, in terms of the basic things are put in place, right? So you don't have to waste your mind in terms of the basics, right? Or in terms of at least giving you a direction in which the claims decision is ultimately going. But if I talk about human oversight, definitely cannot be replaced, especially for high value claims. If you talk about very low value claims, maybe to some extent, yes, the auto decision making may work, but again, it requires a lot of sampling, a lot of audit in terms of how the AI is operating for you in terms of decision making. So definitely human oversight cannot be replaced, even you have the best of AI.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just wanted to come in here and ask, whenever we talk about decisioning and human oversight, we inadvertently move towards claims. But what about sourcing? See, Nazeem was talking about industry expansion, right? That the industry is not expanding. The insurance company, same set of insurance companies are competing for a limited set of customers, right? But when you look at sourcing, if you put I know I said I will not use the word AI, but now the technology and AI is available where in a governed autonomous way, you can actually source cases at scale and therefore put efforts in expanding the boundaries of the industry. So why is the question of decisioning always coming to, or the human element always coming to claims only? And why is there no thoughts around expanding the market?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of work has happened in terms of expanding the market beyond claims as well, right? So we are no longer talking about in terms of decision making through AI only for claims. Definitely not. So as Nazeem also rightly spoke, that when it comes to banking sector, at least you have a credit score, which gives you a direct reflection in terms of what the customer is made all about, right? In insurance, we are not having that. But in terms of insurance also, as you rightly said, sourcing is a big area, I think, where AI, ML can help in terms of onboarding the right customer, right? Because are we onboarding the right customer? Because in insurance, the thought process is that premium given and policy cut out. That's not the case anymore, right? So definitely AI is helping in a long way in terms of onboarding the right customers also. So it's no longer just restricted to claims, but it's also helping in onboarding the right customer.
That's interesting, Saurabh. For example, 50% of two-wheelers in India is uninsured after the primary insurance, roughly. Now the question is, will the profitability of the industry and the price for the customer come down if everything was insured? Theoretically speaking, hota kya hai ki claim happens on hit and run cases and a insured vehicle is implanted, right? So the people who are insured are bearing for people who are not insured. Prices are high. Can you, the whole challenge for us is at a scale. See, today the cost of distribution is very high. Therefore, the penetration is not going up in Cat D, Cat E towns. You go to Guwahati, but can you go to Moregaon? Can you go to beyond Moregaon? Can you go to Cat D? You go to Nasik, but can you go to Sinnar? Can you go to Nifad? You know, can you go to all those towns and kind of, then the economics of, so where what he's talking about is, and it really helps, the penetration will help the loss cost for the industry and will really kind of, you know, and on a larger base, you can accommodate, much better. Is something which you know, but ye na, that's one thing that we have not been able to crack as an industry. There's a big bane, 50% uninsured vehicle, especially two-wheeler, and maybe 35-40% of non-two-wheeler and, you know, passenger cars and what not being insured. It's a huge issue for us here.
I'll just add to what Nazeem also said. So Nazeem, as you rightly said just in the previous question, that many of the cashless claims are being decided in a matter of minutes, right? Definitely it's a big boon, because had it not been AI, this would not have been possible. So definitely a very big boon. So I remember the good old days when AI was not there. I remember we had developed a model on Excel, right? Which used to give us kind of a score in terms of determining whether or not to onboard this customer, or what do we do additionally to onboard the customer. Do I do a back-end check? Do I ask him to go for a medical check? So those days also there were models, but now definitely, as you also rightly said, for sourcing, definitely AI is a boon, big boon. But when it comes to claims, definitely some human oversight I wouldn't rule out.
Yes, I don't want to monopolize this, but just one quick question. You know, I was speaking to somebody in Amazon, a friend of mine. Well, जैसे AI का नाम लेते हैं ना, तो थप्पड़ मारती है Amazon में. तुम AI का नाम नहीं ले सकते हो, थप्पड़ पड़ती है. मतलब क्यों पड़ती है थप्पड़? तो कहता है कि भैया यहाँ पर ना 90 डेज में इम्प्लीमेंट करना पड़ता है. तुम्हारी इंडस्ट्री सिर्फ ज्ञान देती है, एग्जीक्यूट कुछ नहीं करती है. And he was part of our industry before, and then he kind of migrated to a different industry. It got. So AI is A, B, हमारा implementation is, talk is this, first issue. Second, so much biases, AI has so many biases. Human being have biases, right? Caste, creed, color, sex, gender, etc., etc. AI has also so many biases, and over a period of time, biases creeps in. And you don't even know when biases creeps in. The second thing is, what about cost? AI is not cheap. The cost of AI is also sometimes traditional methodology is cheap. Is so we'll have to, you know, really on a continuum look at all these elements. Yeah, cost, biases, benefits, human overlay over AI, and look at it holistically and not get carried away by this word. Any conference you go, सब लोग AI बात करते हैं, समझता कि इसको कुछ है नहीं. मतलब that is the.
But Nadeem, I differ with you, but we'll discuss this offline.
We get to hear various different interesting.
I just wanted to ask Kishore a last question. You went with your family to Bangkok?
I will answer that separately. Out of syllabus. Okay, in the interest of time, probably I'll try to wrap up, or could be the last questions for you, Sandeep. What will differentiate best-in-class claim organization over the next 3 to 5 years? Will it be the technology, data, culture, or what would you think would be the best answer here?
See, basically, it is going to be a combination of all. And we are talking about so many pain points, so many other things, AI and other aspects. From the customer point of view, for a health claim, even today, a customer is discharged in the morning. The doctor says you are ready to go to home, and practically the patient goes in the evening. It is not about whether the insurance company is able to do it in minutes. It is about the entire cycle itself. The hospital is taking a lot of time. The other parties involved in the process, they are also taking their own time. So are we looking at some technology-based solutions to work for solution for entire cycle instead of looking at the pieces of, say, specifically from the insurance company point of view, or only from the customer point of view, or from the hospital point of view? So, sorry to digress, I was just thinking on that. So, Saurabh, is there anything where we are also, from technology standpoint, that AI is helping on reducing that time, which is a pain point for the customer?
Yeah, I can totally relate to this. My mother had a cataract operation, and post-procedure, I was told she had to wait for 4 hours because the claim settlement will take so much of time, right?
And
I had to
insurance company would claim that we have settled within 5 minutes.
This is, I'm talking about a Mediclaim, which means it was already a company policy. Can you imagine, right? So I had to eventually leave my card over there and said, you charge on this, when the claim comes, you reverse it. So the point is that there is a team of doctors who's sitting there verifying all the documents, right? And then I was talking to a good friend of mine in the healthcare industry that we need to really solve for this, right? You can't expect a 60-plus old woman, right, who's just undergone a procedure to wait for 4 to 5 hours over there, right? So Nazeem doesn't agree, but the biases can be solved using AI, and these problems can be solved. Yeah. We should discuss this.
So that's where the technology as well as the human intervention, because the persons who are working on the desk, creating a discharge summary, submitting documents, and then the flow of those documents to the insurance companies, and then insurance company again, there are people working and use of technology in analyzing the claim and analyzing.
Nobody is happy. The hospital is not happy that the patient is sitting. The patient definitely is not happy. I am aggrieved. The whole ecosystem, everybody is unhappy.
And on top of it, you have to also check, as he also said, and Nazeem was also referring, the element of fraud. That 5 to 7% of fraudsters, which is affecting the balance 90-95% of the genuine customers, is where that differentiation factor has to be there.
I have nothing against AI. I'm saying we must just be careful in terms of cost and biases. That's the only point that otherwise I'm all for AI.
Wow. I think it was a great experience learning from the experts how this transformation journey from claims to care has been. I think we are right on time, and the floor is open for questions, if any, from the audience. Yeah, there are awards for this, is it? There are awards for questions? Yeah, please. No questions? Okay.
The mic's not working for the gentleman.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Hi. Yeah, few things still need human intervention. Yeah. So my name is Dheeraj. My question is to Nazeem sir. So with the help of the data analytics and the technology and the digital capabilities in the insurance sector, do you see any changes from a perspective change from paying claim to prevention of claim, specifically in the third-party insurance, in motor insurance?
A third party, if the only way to prevent a claim is prevent accident happening, right? Claim arises when an accident happens. How do you prevent Mr. Gadkari struggling for last 10 years to prevent accident happening? And every year, unfortunately, we see 175,000 Indians dying on the roads. We have been a signatory to the 2020 Geneva Convention, where we thought that in 2015 we agreed to bring down the death by 50%. We are in 2026, we have shifted that milestone to 2030. How do you reduce? So in isolation, you can't do anything, right? But so I'll tell you what we have done. उससे कुछ होगा तो कुछ नहीं, थोड़ा सा हो सकता है. We have adapted certain routes. There's a NGO called Safeway, and Safe Roads, and we are working with them. So we have adopted the Bombay-Pune highway. What we have done is, and there are few stretches where we have ensured, why does an accident happen? Because of engineering, because of driving habits, because of drunk driving, slipping, so many complex reasons, right? Why one motor accident happens. On a stretch of a road, which is about 50 kilometers, we have kind of ensured that we will fix these spots. Ek accident, you realize suddenly that there was an engineering issue in the road, and there was the traffic used to merge. All you need to do was put some engineering on the road, some dividers, separators, coloring, and some human for a few period of time. That NGO started. We did it for the CSR. That it was the implementing agency. On a stretch of roads, we were able to bring down. At least his claim is that we were able to bring down the accident by 75% on that stretch of 50 kilometers over a period of 1 year. Vis-a-vis calendar year 24-25, we bring down the. So insurance company can use some of the CSR that it has. Especially if you're a motor insurance company, if you're also into motor insurance, it is a natural fit for you, right? To be able to, or on the health side, what is preventive? Preventive is, towards, Sandeep ji will kind of agree that claim aata hai, uske fauran baad, 10-12% people do a recurring claim. So what is it, when the moment a claim comes, can you do, preventive, so there are agencies now who are doing a preventive work so that a recurrence doesn't happen. Third is, in China, what do they say? The doctor is paid not for treatment, but for keeping you away, right? Can an insurance company say कि भैया claim होने नहीं देंगे? So for that to happen, what is happening is the OPD on the call, preventive this. हम क्या करते हैं? Look at motor flood. If there is a forecast of heavy rains in Hyderabad, what do? You do send alerts to all the motorists. You also have latitude, longitude. Over a period of time कि कौन सा Bangalore में what are the low-lying areas. You also know what are the affluent pin codes, which will have BMW, which will have Mercs. And a combination of data analytics, AI, weather forecasting will tell you preventive work that can happen with a set of policyholder in that focused area. So ये करते रहते हैं, but you do some of this thing. But this is just not enough. These are all good example to show on the PowerPoint slide, right? कि ये कर दिया. But as an industry, I think the question is very good. How do you move as an industry from a mindset of a reactive to a proactive, where a mitigation to prevention? Risk management हम क्या करते हैं? In the corporate space, when you do, our whole approach is how to prevent a fire happening. Is not to ensure, because now we are dealing with 5,000 corporates and we have done fire insurance for them. हमको पता है आग क्यों लगती है. हमको पता है what are the preventive. He doesn't have that SME owner doesn't have the experience. How do I do control engineering? How do I do loss minimization at that point in time? So the whole industry, I think, as an industry, we need to. और इसमें competition नहीं है. इसमें तो collaboration है ना. Well, for business we can compete, but for some of this preventive area, because this is a win-win for the country, for the citizens of India. Great question, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. In the interest of time, we can take one more question. Last question. Anyone? Yes, gentleman there.
My question to Nimesh sir, we are talking about the AI. What about the sir moral hazard? Because we have seen many dealers, because I'm the motor underwriting team, so I'm just talking about the motor related things. So many, especially I'm just giving an example that in the Western UP, there are many dealers where moral hazard is very high. So how we can control through AI? Because we cannot control through AI because they create very genuine claims. They create it. You will go there for the workshop for the just servicing. They will create a claims and convert it into the claims. So if you'll see that there is a claim ratio is very high. So is there any AI involved or it would be totally MI only?
Okay, great question. So as I mentioned in our conversation also, that AI is definitely a big aid in terms of the final decision making, right? But exactly what you mentioned, there's an element of moral hazard also. That's where human intelligence comes to play, right? So human intelligence has to top up on the AI. I would call that AI is a student and human is a teacher, right? So it's a teacher-student relationship. So for typically, as you rightly said, human mind works faster than AI at times, right? You have an AI in place and there is some human who is trying to work on the loopholes in terms of how he can combat the AI as well. So that's where human intelligence comes to play. And that's where you need to have some audit in place, some other triggers in place, how you can combat things. So AI is only going to give you an aid in terms of what could be the right steps in that direction, but definitely human element is required for such cases.
Hello. Can I ask a second question to Sandeep sir? Sir, normally we take lots of decision, we works on the AI, but when we take an actual action, then there is a team we call distribution channel. They come to us and they say that we have to pay, otherwise there will be loss of the premium, loss of the relationship and all. How we can manage through claims and distribution both?
See, that's what we earlier also this was talked about. There are business challenges, of course. Procuring business is important for any organization. Top line is where unless you have a business, you cannot settle a claim if you do not have a business. The finding out the right business and using AI-based technology in procurement and identifying the customer. You talked about moral hazard. Moral hazard you cannot judge by AI. This has to be done through various documentations, various papers submitted by the customer, the profile of the customer, and judging it with the data. So that business would definitely remain, and that friction of underwriting versus claims or marketing versus claims would always remain.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Mr. Nadeem. Yeah, hi. My leading question to your judgment was that you did a survey on that Pune-Mumbai stretch road for 50 kilometers or something. Karke. So my question was, can you hear me? My question was, claim kam hua kya usse?
Obviously, about outside fraud, forget the fraud part of it. Claim will be a function of accident, right? The ultimate objective of that project was not selfish to get less claim. It was more out of good spirit, less human beings should die on the road. Yeah, that was the objective. The sweet part of it is, if a claim come hua, is a sweet part of it. But वो objective नहीं था. Ultimately, हर जगह claim में, मतलब ना, there has to be life beyond claim also, boss. We are all human beings. हमको ना मतलब कि success parameter को ना we have to broaden. But अब आपका नियत सही है ना, result सही आएगा. मैं बोल रहा हूँ, if your intention is right, the result will follow. Your intention is to reduce human loss, reduce accident, reduce fatality. If that happens, automatically claim will reduce. Automatically claim will reduce. ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है कि 75% नो बढ़ जाएगा unless there is 75% increase in fraud? वो तो हम होने ही नहीं देंगे. वरना हम तनख्वाह क्यों ले रहे हैं?
And the second question was कि आपको लगता है क्या AI ने इसमें असिस्ट किया होता आपको? ये जो एक्सपेरिमेंट आपने करा था वहाँ पे?
AI will only, so what we do is simulate. So for what we do, for example, every accident that happens, for example, बहुत टाइम हो रहा है यार, एक 30 सेकंड लूँगा, फिर आपने सवाल पूछ लिया है, तो ये हम लोगों को दिक्कत खराब ये है कि बोलने की आदत बहुत है. 30 seconds लूँगा. So for every accident that happens, we capture attributes, right? Kacha road, Pakka road, national highway, state highway, latitude, longitude, tar road, cement road, you know, near school, near liquor shop, near pan shop, you know, गाड़ी के अंदर था, बाहर था, left से जा रहा था, right से जा रहा था. All these attributes and 100 others are captured in a claim. And then you try and analyze कि accident हुआ क्यों था. But that is only for your set of customers. We only have 10% market share, right? 90% market share is outside us, right? We don't have 100% market share. I can only do it for my this. And so, but with the limited experience that you have, you're able to figure out कि भैया accident ये road पे हो क्यों रहा है? हो इसलिए रहे कि भाई वो डिवाइडर में रॉन्ग साइड से ट्रैफिक आती थी, वहाँ पर सिग्नल काम नहीं कर रहे थे, वहाँ पर 4 जगह से एंट्री हो रही है. You know, village road is merging into this. People have to take a U-turn. You know, people from crossing from east of the village to the west of village has to cross this where there is no barricading. So when you start doing this 10%, you start getting answer, and you then assume that what is true for me is true for what is true for Goose is true for Gander, right? What is true for us is true for Kotak, is true for Cholamandalam, etc., etc. And then you work with those people, with the NGOs, and say कि भैया ये issue है, और वो हमसे भी ज़्यादा expert है, वो तो उनका रात दिन का धंधा ही है. And then you are able to kind of put those mitigation plan in place.
I'm sure Dr. Kayyum would have more questions to add, but I think वो lunch के time पे कर लेंगे.
No questions.
Nazeem can speak at length. So I think we are at the end of the session and we can close it. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Fabulous. With this panel, I think we all know the future of claim management is just no longer about only reimbursement. It is more about anticipation, care, and of course, prevention. Thank you so much. What a fabulous. I think we could have gone on, and the questions and the way you articulated it, it was fabulous. Can we have a huge round of applause for all the leaders? I felt like you all were talking, but it was very interactive. It was like something that we always look forward to. Well, let's get going. May I now invite Mr. Krishnanand Menon, Senior Specialist Advisor, Business Development, Entity Data Information Processing Services, Private Limited, on stage. Can we have a huge round of applause for him? First and foremost, from the panel, I request Dr. Rohitt Salwan, Head of Legal and Fraud Prevention Unit, Bajaj Life Insurance Limited, to join us on center stage and accept the memento. Thank you so much for joining in. Can we have a huge round of applause, everybody? I may now request Sandeep Aggarwal, VP and National Head, Health Claims, IFFCO Tokyo General Insurance. Can we have a huge round of applause? Once again, a very great insights from all the leaders out here. I may now call upon Nimesh Kanabar, CRO, Zurich Kotak General Insurance. Thank you once again, sir, for sharing key insights. May I now call upon Mr. Nazeem Khan, Head of Internal Control and Motor Third Party Claims, ICICI Lombard. First of all, thank you, sir, and thank you for making it so interactive and interesting. Can we have a huge round of applause for him? May I now call upon Mr. Saurabh Chandra, co-founder and CTO, OneAssist. Once again, a huge round of applause. Thank you so much for the constructive key point highlighters. Yes, the captain of the ship, like I fondly say, and the moderator for this fantabulous panel, Kishore Kanchandani, CRO, Magma General Insurance Limited. Thank you. And with all the mementos, I'll request you to please join us on the center stage for a group picture. All of you. Yes, sir. With the mementos, please. Well, with AI, predictive analytics, and digital platform transforming the ecosystem, insurers have the new opportunity to move from reactive claim settlement to proactive customer protection and seamless care delivery. And thank you for highlighting this. Can we have a fabulous round of applause for such an interactive panel? Well, thank you.